this is Manindrabu from Batam. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sadakau from Coca-Cola. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold Benaka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Grove Resort, and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News tonight. Government on the hunt for new civil servants. Fijian peacekeepers to remain in Sinai. And earthquakes around the region cause concerns. The government is on the lookout for keen minds, Fijians who want to make a change and those who want to make a difference. This drive is to boost the civil service reform that the government is currently undertaking. Akusita Tale reports.
A call has been made to Fijians who are willing to work for the Civil Service Ministry, but at the same time move towards an efficient, transparent and modern civil service that effectively provides services to all.
We're looking for people with ideas and enthusiasm. People who want to make a difference to their communities through service, through government service. We also want to create an environment where businesses can thrive.
Recruitment into the new ministry is currently ongoing, and the government says there needs to be more drive from educated and capable Fijians.
We hope that we get responses from university, from the private sector and from government as well. We are making sure that everybody has fair and equitable access to jobs in the government, and we're looking for the best and brightest in that area.
Perrine says the government is focusing on modernizing the civil service through such reforms to create a highly efficient and productive modern nation state. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Despite escalating violence in the Middle East, 338 Fijian peacekeepers based in Sinai will remain in place. RFMF's Director Peace Support Operations, Commander Humphrey Tawake, says they are assessing the security situation on a daily basis. Maggie Boyle with this report.
Growing tensions and direct gunfire has placed Fijian troops who are part of the multinational forces and observers in harm's way.
Ongoing conflicts between the Egyptian armed forces and the armed element that is called the Wilayat Sinai. It's said to be affiliated to IS, but there's no direct link between them to IS at the moment. So currently the operations that is undergoing there is by the Egyptian armed forces trying to clear these elements out.
Republic of Fiji Military Forces Commander Humphrey Tawake admits the MFO have had to pull back their troops from a number of locations.
We have enhanced force protection measures that have been instilled in them. They're all aware, so we do receive daily reports from the mission, from the commanding officer. So at no stage that the Fiji will withdraw from that mission.
Recent overseas media reports claim a peace agreement between Egypt and Israel may have been breached.
The Egyptian armed forces stepped up their operations to clear out some of these armed elements. So the dilemma that we're in, we are caught in the middle of these operations, but that is the prerogative of the Egyptian armed forces. Whatever they do in the northern Sinai, it is within the sovereignty of the Egyptian government.
Despite the volatility in Sinai, Fijian peacekeepers make up one of the largest contingents of the MFO, responsible for monitoring a peace agreement in a war zone. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights will soon be finalising its report on the Fiji Interchange Network Payments Bill 2016, informally known as the National Switch. The committee today heard submissions from officials of Visa in Sydney, Australia. Ellen Stolz has more.
Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights Chair Ashnil Sudhakar says they hope to complete all submissions soon. Under this new legislation, all banks in Fiji will be required to provide their payment services through the network and will need to be licensed by the Fiji Interchange Network Authority to provide their payment services.
The law is quite modern itself, and the two gentlemen from US who came to present on behalf of Visa, they're actually happy with the idea too, that this is a modern world. In fact, you'd be surprised to know that in a lot of countries they have moved on from cash to credit card, and now they just type everything in their mobile phones, and you tap a mobile phone and do your shopping.
Offering their expertise today were representatives from Visa Australia, Andy McCown, who says it would be a step forward for Fiji.
Once the economy's moved to more electronification of payments, that can help improve the economy and help improve the overall GDP and productivity and efficiency in the country as well.
It would be an offence under the new law not to connect to the network. The new law may later apply to other financial institutions, mobile phone companies, statutory bodies and other payment service providers. This also includes non-bank payment service providers. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
7 major earthquakes struck the Pacific region within the last 3 days. The latest earthquake, measuring 6.1 on the Richter scale, struck southeast of Fiji's neighbouring country, Tonga, raising the question, are we next? The images show just how strong the earthquake near the coast of Ecuador was, measuring 7.8 on the Richter scale. Hours after this, Tonga felt a 6.1 magnitude tremor, and a tsunami alert was issued for the Pacific region.
With regards to earthquakes, it remains to be an unpredictable event. With all that we have, the data, the technology that we have, it remains to be unpredictable. And if it happens, then it happens.
Apete Soro says it all comes down to the movement of tectonic plates and where each country is situated.
Fiji is along that Pacific Rim of Fire and is located precariously again on the Indo-Australian and the micro-Fiji plate. And that for our location remains to be an active seismic zone.
Sora says Fiji experiences small tremors on a daily basis. It won't be until the Richter scale hits anywhere above the 5.0 mark that we will have a reason to worry. He is advising the public the importance of keeping up to date with what's happening around at all times and always be prepared should an emergency arise. The chairman of the Public Service Commission, Vishnu Mohan, has announced the appointment of 4 new permanent secretaries today. Of the 4 new appointees, 2 are currently enacting permanent secretary roles. 1 is a Fijian diplomat and 1 is an Australian expatriate. The 4 successful candidates are Makereta Konrote, Permanent Secretary for Finance, Ravindran Robin Nair, Permanent Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Salaseni Ndaunambuna, Permanent Secretary for Employment, Productivity and Industrial Relations, and Bernadette Welsh, Permanent Secretary for the Civil Service. The 4 appointments have been made by the Public Service Commission under the 2013 Constitution with the agreement of the Prime Minister. Still to come on FBC News, Australian Defence Forces finish off work in Fiji post-cyclone Winston, and $1 million subsidy for sugar industry. Stay with us.
Bula FM nomor 2 nasi. Bula narango ulemila au ngongai nandi ando talitak nabarong na Bula FM number 2 nasi.
Bula nango penel toka do talitak nabarong na Bula FM number 2 nasi.
Ni bula narango o anawaite webata ena kasi ando barong na Bula FM number 2 nasi.
Bula FM number 2 nasi.
Australian Defence Force has completed rehabilitation works conducted in most affected areas, which includes engineering surveys. Australian Defence Force Commander Lieutenant Colonel Scott Hill has confirmed more than 300 engineering surveys were conducted in conjunction with the Fiji Military Forces and the National Disaster Management Office. Savara Tambua has more.
The
These are some of the rehabilitation works done by the Australian military personnel in the aftermath of DC Winston.
Our engineering assessments, which were done with RFMF engineers, will certainly go into part of that. From a more enduring military presence, we still have a Defence Attaché here, Lieutenant Colonel Lachlan Robertson, and in fact in the 2 months we've been here, he now has an Assistant Defence Attaché as well. So that's a good part for us to have here at the High Commission.
95 Australian military personnel left our shores over the weekend, and Hill says despite challenges faced during rehab work, it doesn't stop them from trying to accomplish their mission on time.
For us personally, for the Australian Defence Force, that initial humanitarian assistance, disaster relief work and the schools, medical facilities, water sanitation, that's all been achieved, and that's all been done to that quick standard to get people back in.
After the departure of the HMS Canberra, nearly 200 Australian military officers remained behind to work in Rakiraki, which was one of the hardest hit areas. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
The Republic of Fiji military forces is ready to complete the rehabilitation work around the country. After working with their Australian and New Zealand counterparts, the RFMF personnel are beaming with confidence to continue rebuilding lives in the worst affected areas post-cyclone Winston. Ali Kimbia has more.
After a month of rehabilitation work with the Australian Defence Force after tropical cyclone Winston, the Republic of Fiji military forces are ready to implement work experience gained and complete the rehabilitation work.
It's good to work with them, learning some new experience from them, and we're teaching them other things too from us because of the things that here, like the houses like that, the building of the houses, they got their own tools and all those things. So they're teaching us something, and we're teaching them something too. The easiest way, they're teaching us the easiest way.
The Australian Defence Force have been working with the RFMF in rebuilding houses, schools and improved infrastructure in some affected areas. This is a one-off experience these soldiers will never forget.
Working with the Fijian Army has been great. We've learned a lot from them, as they have from us, I guess, too. And down to the locals as well. It's been very humbling working with them.
The RFMF, together with NDMO, will ensure that rehabilitation work continues as normal, especially in the island of Koro and Vanuatu. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
5,100 sugarcane growers from the Western Division will benefit from the Lautoka Cane Producers Association's 2016 Fair Trade Premium Plan. Shireen Shivan reports low-income farmers from Singatoka, Nandi and Lautoka, who are association members, are taking advantage of the premium plan since 2013.
$1.5 million has been set aside by the Lautoka Cane Producers Association for this year's community development and farm assistance programs. The fund was collected from the premiums on sale of sugar under the Fair Trade scheme by the Tate & Lyle Company.
Well, at the moment the fertilizer price is $31.50. What our association is doing, they're giving $4 subsidy per bag, so a member has to pay only $27.50 from his pocket. The balance $4 is being paid by the association.
As part of the plan, $300 is also given to association members on passing away of an immediate family member. Singh says the association receives $60 per ton of sugar each time they export sugar overseas.
Our farmer is at the moment harvesting 100 tons of cane. If we give subsidies on fertilizer and weedicides, he might go up to 130 tons. So that 30 ton money will be extra gained by the farmer.
Introduced in 2010, the Fair Trade Premium Plan has benefited a number of sugarcane farmers in Fiji. Shireen Shivan, FBC News.
Many students around the country are still studying under tents while their schools are being rebuilt. Temporary learning spaces is still a need for these children who were also affected by the flooding last week. Save the Children Fiji Chief Executive Officer Iris Lowe Mackenzie says they have received over $5 million in financial support from the Australian and the New Zealand governments and the private corporate organisations internationally.
Well, we have been working with the Ministry of Education in providing educational materials like school bag kits, and we've already distributed 500 school bag kits in the Ra area. We have over 1,000 school bag kits going this week to Vanolevo and Tavuni.
The assistance will also be used for other core sectors, which includes child protection, water sanitation and hygiene. Fulton Hogan Highways joint venture has donated $150,000 to the Prime Minister's National Disaster Relief and Rehabilitation Fund. While presenting the check, Fulton Hogan General Manager Bill Corredes says they have experienced first-hand devastation and the impact Tropical Cyclone Winston had on people's lives. Fulton Hogan has been directly involved in the rehabilitation of the Central and Northern Division road networks for the past 8 weeks since Category 5 Cyclone Winston struck Fiji. Apart from that, Fulton Hogan international staff in New Zealand and Australia donated $28,000 to the Red Cross, raised through salary deductions as relief funds to help the people of Fiji. And on that note, sports is up next. Here's Jamie now with the latest.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. In sports after the break, Joshua Tuisova to be part of Paris and London Sevens. And challenge laid down for this year's Coca-Cola Games. This and more coming up.
I'm Sarah, I'm from Tafwa, and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Freddy, I'm from Gamiatong. I listen to Mario on the traffic jam every afternoon.
Hi, my name is Sala, I live in Asinu. Today FM rocks.
My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Ulamila, I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM, it rocks in Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
France-based Toulon winger Joshua Tuisova has confirmed he will join the Fiji Sevens side in May for the European leg. Tuisova hopes to make the cut for the dream team that will take part in the Olympic Games in August. Rohit Deo reports.
While there has been some prominent names of overseas players floating around, France-based Joshua Tuisova has confirmed to be part of the Vodafone Fiji Sevens side for the European leg.
What Ben Ryan said, that I'll be taking part for the last two legs, Paris and London, the next month. But I thank my coach too here in Toulon for releasing me to play for these two legs.
The Bar native will join the Fiji Sevens team in Paris in May. He hopes to impress coach Ben Ryan and play in the midfields.
I think it's going to be tough for me for playing 15 and then coming back for sevens. But seven is a game of fitness. I'm going to try to prove my fitness during this short time of 3 more weeks left for doing fitness here in Toulon.
For Joshua, it will be a dream come true to play alongside his brother and sensational Pio Tuai.
Back in Fiji, I always play centre, but I think if I'm going to see what Ben Ryan told me, but I think I'm going to play, I would like to play centre again for the last two legs.
The 22-year-old Tuisova has played for Fiji Sevens before, but getting a nod this time around will be a special one for him. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Defending Skipper Cup champions Nandrunga face a tough challenge in the competition open against Naita Siri this weekend. The Stallions have lost some of its players to Suva, but are still favourites, having won all local rugby tournaments in the last 2 years. The match kicks off at 3 p.m. at Singatoka's Lawanga Park on Saturday, and you can catch live commentary of the game on Radio Fiji 1. In other matches, Nandi will host Tailevu at Prince Charles Park, Lautoka battles Namosi at Nandovu Park, Northland takes on Vatukola at Gatwood Park, while Tavua plays Suva at Gavi Park. In the promotion relegation match, Ovalau plays Malolo at Nasori's Ratudakabau Park on Saturday at 3 p.m. Concerns have been raised by some players and officials of the Suva Football Association who returned from the Oceania Football Confederation Champions League in New Zealand yesterday. Members of the campaign, who wish to remain anonymous, say the players did not want to train before the last match against AS Lossie as they had not received their allowances. Rohit Deo reports.
Gully stayed forward. It's a great cross and a
None of the two Fijian teams made it to the semi-finals of the OFC Champions League. If this was not disappointing enough, players and officials have expressed concerns that the Suva football heads did not manage administrative matters well enough when the team was in New Zealand. President Mahen Prasad says the travelling team treasurer got sick in New Zealand, which did create some hiccups.
with the lower try.
We are all human beings. There will be error and up and down, but definitely everything was under control. We had a team director, Ritesh, there. I am waiting Ritesh to give the full report of the O-League tour.
FBC Sports has received confirmation that players did not want to prepare for the last pool match, but agreed only after coach Gurjeet Singh pleaded them to. Prasad accepting the allowances were not given to the players up till yesterday.
It's true that we didn't have all the money transferred. The allowance, last week allowance to the New Zealand, because we need the transfer fees also. So we had a meeting with our players, and our players, majority of players voted that they will collect the money in Fiji and spend with the family.
The Fiji Football Association also expressing their disappointment on the performance of Suvai Nandi.
Yes, it was a bit disappointing with the teams not qualifying for the semi-final before. At least a team used to qualify from Fiji to the semi-finals of OCL.
And there's a good header from Robertson, but there was no...
Those countries whose teams make it to the semi-finals of the tournament get 2 clubs representation in the next tournament. Since the inception of this rule, this is the first time that next year only 1 team from Fiji will take part. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The final countdown to Fiji's biggest athletics meet, the Coca-Cola Games, was marked with the lighting of the game's torch by the defending boys and girls champions in Suva today. And despite recent setbacks, organizers are pleased with the number of participants for this year's competition. Vashnil Prasad reports.
Expect another bumper Coca-Cola Games this year with a total of 2,356 athletes taking part from 124 schools during the 3-day meet next week.
I thought that it would be worse than what it is at the moment, but I'm surprised that 2,356 athletes are coming with 124 schools.
The countdown for the 2016 Coca-Cola Games has begun, and the challenge has been laid today by the defending champions Jasper Williams and Natambua High School.
We're preparing better, and we are hoping that we'll do better on the ground next week.
We're looking forward to the Coca-Cola Games, and we don't want to disappoint our supporters out there and all the fans.
This year's meet is dubbed as one to watch. The sacrifices from the schools through the current tough times is one thing appreciated by the sponsors of the games.
Now the official countdown to the 2016 Coca-Cola Games. As you all understand, the countdown actually started last year, where the students themselves prepared from the sports days to the zones, and now coming up to the culmination of the Coca-Cola Games.
The games is expected to turn interesting, with titles travelling from west. It could say another goodbye to the schools in Central or find its new home in a style. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
That is your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The Tourism Action Group has made a tremendous progress in its campaign after Tropical Cyclone Winston. TAG had set a number of short-term strategies to draw in visitors following the destruction. Tourism Minister Fayaz Koya says the group worked hand-in-hand with the Ministry and Tourism Fiji to get the industry back on its feet.
It has made a lot of progress. In fact, you can see we've bounced back pretty quickly, and tourism is a private sector driven entity really. And the action group has done quite a lot of work just post the cyclone and positive work all around the world to ensure that Fiji remains a #1 destination for travellers from all around the world.
Showers affected the eastern parts and interior of the main islands today. Fine weather prevailed elsewhere. In temperatures, Nadi and Lautoka were the hottest on 32 degrees, while Suva and Lambasa ended on 30 degrees. Savasavu was the coolest on 28 degrees. For tomorrow's cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, fine apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers, moderate to fresh southeast winds, moderate to rough seas. And the further outlook is for Thursday, it's fine apart from brief showers. Recapping the main stories for tonight, government is on the hunt for new civil servants. Fijian peacekeepers to remain in Sinai, and earthquakes around the region is causing concerns. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. On to the poll question for this week. We are asking, should Kitione Talinga be included in the sevens team for the Olympics? To answer, visit our FBC website, www.fbc.com.fj, to have your say. And we'll have the results of our poll question in our Monday night news segment. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us by Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.
मैं हूँ रेहान खान गुरबो तालेबू के जैसे फेस्टिवल ए ग्रेड है गुरबो में उसी तरह मिर्ची एफएम नंबर 1 है गुरबो में
एलिन लटका में मिर्ची एफएम को लॉक कर दिया जाए मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट
हम नकाशी से साइमन है हमारा फेस्टिवल जैसे नंबर 1 है वैसे मिर्ची एफएम नंबर 1 है
माय नेम इज दिनेश हम नेंडी में काम करता है स्लीपिंग जॉइंट जिपलाइन में और मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट आई लाइक इट
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट